Today we're going to take a deep dive into faster decision making. I'm going to show you how awareness and reflexes make a huge part of improving at Warzone. Too many people think that speed is about movement, when really it is about making fast decisions and timing them with the information that you have. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm looking at when I'm making these decisions and how we pull off today's flawless victory. If you learned something in today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Once we've gotten the loadout, we are putting up the UAV immediately to get information. We are isolating a solo player over here at red, and we are pushing that aggressively, pinching from the front and the back, and using our lethals to flush and maintaining our pinch. Next radar ping, we are pinning that to our memory and rotating towards the same tactic. I'm looking at the hot zone of the top of the steps and respecting the danger. Footstep audio on the steps, switching to the appropriate weapon for the fight, and we are looking at those resurgence pings as they are spaced out. We have a precision airstrike on our position, so we're going to fall back into the protection of Big Green. We're not getting too close to the windows because that precision could knock us. Remember, in a gunfight, there is a ton of information. Not only do we have mini-map pings, but we also have the directional fire indicator, which tells me that there is a guy to my right. And that's a higher priority target, so I'm going to use the cover of the trailer and check both threats while not leaving cover. Holding down those lanes, split between the three. Like I always say, you want to have a split formation on your zone so you can hold down all the lanes of the fight. When you're in the open, make sure you're getting back to cover as soon as possible. Definitely recommend taking advantage of tracker in the night modes. You're going to be able to see those targets so much easier with this lower visibility. After we knock one, we heard the res, and we're looking. Once we drop down, we still don't see, which means he's still above us somewhere. Using the cover to shoulder in and out and take out the enemy. We're going to do a HUD review at this point. We have to manage all of our information at one time. So we know that there are players on the roof of control based on the minimap ping. We also can see tracer rounds and their intended direction and who they're firing upon. Looking back at the map, they are likely shooting at our teammate. We are in an open area and a low spot just below where they're at, and there is no cover down here. So I'm going to move up to draw their fire, get them off of our teammate, and Snake and Sloth are going to fall back in the direction to protect him. We talk about dumb pushes all the time on the channel, and pushing into control where an entire team has the high ground is a prime example of a bad decision. So I'm going to continue my escape along the wall, and I get an immediate assist from the UAV to tell me that an enemy's close. I'm also getting audio cues, so I'm already planning a hard escape route, which is we're going to put surfaces between that directional fire indicator and our exit strategy. Rotating hard away from the gunfire and then pulling back towards cover to return. We're not able to drop, but we are able to get them off of our tail. Now it's time to get back with the team, and we're going to use the environment to our advantage to get there as fast as possible. We are swapping weapons as soon as we enter close quarters so that we're ready for a close quarter fight. Once you come back to a POI and you don't have enough information, you need to be hugging that cover, making sure that you're close to protection, because you never know who's going to drop in. Again, switching to that close quarter weapon is a habit you need to build, is when you're in buildings, you need to have the right weapon out, and when you exit, you need to go back to your long range when necessary. Clearing out your rooms, seeing the areas, seeing potential threats and corners that people are going to hide in to take you out. Two teammates go down, one's elevated, and I notice where the fight is coming from. And the decision to go upstairs is directly related to that minimap. Is not only did I get high and low revive circles appearing on the screen, I'm looking at the minimap, and if I were to push up the alleyway, I would not have a great line of sight on this fight. By going upstairs, I have a better angle on these guys. I also have the motivation of them having to come into zone. We're rolling up to assist, trying to tap. Putting down suppressive fire so that the weak teammate can get away. It's very, very difficult to manage, but you can do it. Get in the habit of putting down suppressive fire and you'll save some of your teammates. People are always asking, how do they know where I'm at? And to that I say it's probably the bright white, pink, or red costumes that a lot of players like to wear. So anticipating that rotation and holding down a line of sight combined with that awareness makes it very easy to get those kills. We still have at least two on the far side, while we're also getting landed on by a teammate of theirs that's trying to get back in zone. And reaction timing has everything to do with your awareness of both your potential threats and where you can move to get away from them. As right now, we are using this roof line to hold the threat of this window, but I'm also looking at that directional fire indicator, which means I need to get back over the peak as soon as possible. And we have a third angle, so we need to get off the roof entirely. It is not safe. We've drawn way too much attention, and I'm going to do my best to regain the team. I'm going to fall back away from the threat, closer to the next buy station, because we have enough money and we can get a loadout to reset. If two players or more lost those weapons on factory, it's time for us to reset that fight and get us back into getting our guns. Notice they make an attempt at getting their weapons back. That's completely fine, but we're communicating to them that we are now in purchase of a new loadout, and I'm putting some ordnance on the roof of factory to slow down their pursuit. Important information is, after they've thirsted our teammates, they have our resurgence pings, which means they know our location. They just saw the purchase of the loadout, so now it's time to defend. But we have a new front, again, tracer rounds off the back of chemical, and I'm going to immediately go towards that buy station, get myself a new precision airstrike, and then I'm going to defend the backside while the other player defends the front. I'm going to use the cover on the roof to knock target one. I'm not using the precision because I can easily thirst it. I want to save it for that circle pull. Checking back on the opposite side, holding both angles and communicating if we have gotten the loadout. Another key point of information is we are doing what I call buy station surfing. We moved from factory over to harbor, over to chemical. When you don't have time or money for UAVs, it's way easier to find kills in these zones, especially during the fire sale, because players are going to be coming to get cheaper resources. We're also maintaining the center of the circle, which is very important when you're looking at the overall change of the game. Is right now we have a loadout on a buy station in the center of circle, which essentially gives us map control if we play our cards right. Providing suppressive fire and throwing that streak right at the target. Paying close attention to the triangles that are on the opposite side. And random has pushed way too far into the bottom of chemical, which is another typical sign of a player that plays a lot of multiplayer. They're not using their strategic positioning to their advantage. We're going to pop as many boxes as we can to bring 2 teammates back as soon as possible. And I'm going to play my positioning a little slower to try and get a kill to reduce that timer. We see them coast by, we push. On the pursuit, we can see through tracker that the steps appear to stop right here, which kind of tells me that he went behind the door, and I do something a little bit different. So I have a tactic for this play. I go straight through the room and out the window, and then I immediately Uno reverse that player by stimming and pre-aiming my exit. And what that does is it takes the entire fight out of this room and then narrows it to this tiny little rectangle. And if he wants me, he has to run exactly where I want him. Then you just add a little bit of sidestepping movement, and you can totally embarrass somebody who is hiding in the corner. Always check the skies on fly-ins and communicate when they're returning for loot. Be aware of your rotational positions, and when you catch a glimpse of a player, communicate that before you push. Don't blindly push, use your lethals to flush, and then rotate directly towards cover. Target transitioning is something I talk a lot about in my videos, and you want to make sure that you're not over-focusing. Once you get the down, you're going to the next player, and you're either going through the door in this situation, or they're going straight to cover, and I'm going to take that crosshair right to the heady. We still have buy station control, and it's time for us to move back towards center zone. Communicating that there are players flying in on that, putting some successful shots, and once again, taking that money and turning it into a streak. What's also really important is respecting the high ground of this circle. And in this scenario, we have players that are going to be coming down from prison that are going to have an angle on our rotation here. So I'm going to clear as much of those open areas as possible, but I'm going to react to our teammate going down, and this is where buy station control is important. Now this buy station directly in front of me with the loadout on it is likely not safe because there is vertical positions and red roof directly across from it, and it is a very dangerous buy at the moment. So I'm going to back off. So as I think about it, I hear footsteps to confirm my suspicions. I'm going to fall back to support the buyback, and Pink is back in the game. We have a confirmed buy station purchase at prison, as well as one over at the loadout where we just were. So our buy station control is over here on the gas line, and we're keeping that information and keeping our money up. We see that Snake is in danger. We jump upstairs to assist, see if we can catch any players on the window. Watching the low window. And then we're patiently ready to assist. More buybacks. The Snake goes down, and he calls out that it was a sniper from prison. I'm going to immediately take advantage of the shopping cart because it's still on the map. Falling all the way back to the platform. Once we have him in the game, now I'm going to put a precision airstrike on the roof of Red Roof to clear enemies off of our loadout so that Snake can get his guns. I want to get information. There's players shooting down from chemical, and I turn and find another player over on the small building. Doing a quick count, we have 2 teams. Now we're down to 1 team. 4v4. Multiple fly-ins. It's really important to react to that audio because it is the surefire way to get killed if you don't respect it. We heard footsteps. It didn't sound like it was my teammate. It sounded like the other side of the wall. So I immediately swung as they ran up to the wall. I'm dropping this player, but I am not overcommitting because this player I was not able to drop on the roof just prior to this gunfight. We trade knocks. I get down into cover to self. I stim in the cover of the electrical panel, and I notice the circle pulling away from me. It is a 2v3 scenario, so we still have a player on the roof to my left, and I'm concerned that my knock by the truck may have gotten up. I spot a new player just before I throw the thermite to clear, so I pre-aim and predict their head glitch. I'm successful in dropping, but I have to get off of this piece of cover because the precision is coming. Sliding up to take that player out, getting the thirst, and then immediately rotating up towards the tree in case, because I never got confirmation on the Chucky doll, and of course Snake finds him just as he's about to get into the vehicle. The biggest thing that I teach any player that wants to improve at the game is you have to start to think about where you are and where you need to be. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and like I always say, keep building, keep adapting. SitRep out.